Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Yay! Yes, and today, as we continue to go backwards through the letter P, we've got two composers, Michael Praetorius and Jonathan Powell. Boy, there's someone I'll bet you don't know. Some of you may. Actually, there are a couple discs of his that have been hopping around recently. We'll get to him in a moment. First, let's start with Michael Praetorius. I have a surprising amount of Michael Praetorius. I have no idea why. I remember Michael Praetorius because when I was in Glee Club back in the days, when I was in high school and college, but in high school, we used to do some of his Christmas things and little song arrangements and stuff. And also because he assembled the dances from Terpsichore that were on all those like David Monroe medieval music collections and things like that. They were charming little things. He lived from 1570s to like the 1620s, exactly the same era as Monteverdi's Orfeo, for example. I mean, we're talking the very, very end of what we call the Renaissance period music. I mean, the historical Renaissance we were into the Counter-Reformation by then, but or at least by part of then. But it was about the end of the 16th century and the very beginning of the 17th century, which is the very dawn of the Baroque period. And there are just a bazillion of these sort of creaky German composers from that era. One of the things the period instrument movement has done is to throw a little lubricant into the creaky hinges of that part of musical history. And so there's quite a bit of Michael Praetorius out, and it's pretty delightful, actually. So here we have his Lutheran Mass for Christmas Morning from 1620, which is really with the Gabrielli Consort and Players and Paul McCreesh on archive. It's one of those compiled things where they take a bunch of things that he did and they assemble it in a theoretical version of what might have happened at some point in the time. It doesn't matter. The music is lovely. It's really beautiful. It's fun. It's modal. This is also with music by Samuel Scheidt and Johann Hermann Schein. Don't confuse them. Scheidt and Schein, Schein and Scheidt, Scheidt and Schein. You have to, like I said, there's like a billion of these guys out there. So that was that thing. I don't play it that often, but it's very enjoyable. Then we've got, dances from Terpsichore. Here's a whole pile of them, with also by other people, of course. You usually don't just get Praetorius on a Praetorius disc. You get Praetorius and chums and friends, and I didn't know half of these people, but if you did, maybe. So you've got a bunch of dances from Terpsichore. Then you've got Pierre Certain and Andrianus Valerius and Orazio Vecchi. Oh, wait, I sang some Orazio Vecchi at one point. What was the thing we sang by him? Fa una canzone senza nota nera. I don't know. It was very nice. It's a madrigal type thing. And they're lovely. These lovely, lovely little songs and dances and charming sniglets that are basically, 1 minute long or less. And so, you can collect them and trade them. They're like, bubblegum comics and trading cards. Then we've got, here's some sacred music with the Huelgas Ensemble and Paul Van Nebel, his Magnificat, which is a major work. Magnificat per omnes versus super ut re mi fa so fa so la. Okay. And als tiefer not schrei ich zu dir. That's De Profundis clamavi ad te domine. Yeah, heavy duty psalm setting. Then we have Der Tag vertrieb die finster Nacht and Venite exaltemus Domino and Maria Magdalena and Peccavi fea fateor, and finally, last but not least, the CXVI, what's that, 116th Psalm. Thank you. Yes, I got that. Really beautiful music. It's lovely, lovely music in Latin and in German. So that's fun. And there's this one as well. What's this one? Praetorius, Polyhymnia, Caducatrix, and Panegyrica. Music for Christmas, hymns of peace and praise, with Musica Fiata and La Capella Ducale under Roland Wilson. Wow. Can I actually get through it? Yeah. Two wonderful discs on Sony. It was Vivarte, right? At that point. Yeah, Sony Vivarte. Wolf Erickson's line. Really, really first-rate stuff. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And let's see, the Hassler Consort under Franz Rommel doing Christmas motets and choral concertos on MD&G. So it's multi-choral music for several choirs and stuff like that. And it's rich and big and Gabrielli-like and just deliciously fulsome. And fulsomosity is where it's at. And what's this one? Up more dances from Terpsichore with the New London Consort under Philip Pickett. Terpsichore was published in 1612, in case you were worried. And wow, there's like lots of these little dance-like suckers, all of which can be orchestrated however you like. I mean, they're very sparsely notated, and that's that. Then, at last, we come to Jonathan Powell, his Symphony in A major, the Virginia Symphony, with the Virginia Symphony under Joanne Falletta on Albany. Here's a guy who I don't think could ever be performed like right now. Maybe even 10 years ago, or when this was recorded, which was in what was the date? 2003. Okay, so it's 20 years ago with the Virginia Symphony. Powell was, one of those sort of American original composers. He wasn't like Ives' original. He wrote in traditional forms because he was a eugenicist. I mean, a serious, what he thought was being a scientific eugenicist, which was that, the races, need to be kept separate, and they had different intellectual capabilities and things that they could and couldn't do. And I mean, the whole horribly debunked, awful argument. Do we have his dates here? Because maybe, that kind of, gives him maybe a little bit of minor justification for the crap he believed. But the symphony is fun. He was a Virginia-born composer. He debuted as a pianist. It was 1882, but he lived till 1963. Oh, boy. Let's see, debuted in Berlin in 1907. So he was a respected composer, his major compositions being a violin concerto, a piano concerto, an orchestral suite, 2 string quartets, etc., and this symphony. So, and it's based on rural songs of the South, and he's never gonna. What can I say? He's pretty hopeless. But at least Albany recorded this, and I'm glad they did, because he is a composer worthy of hearing once in a while. Let's put it that way. And once again, we don't, these days when they're long gone, usually ignore composers who do good work just because they may have had some long discredited and abhorrent personal beliefs about various things. Well, Powell was one of them, and now you know. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.